Alright, here's another guitar player that was long overdue to have a video on this series, Kevin Eubanks, absolute monster of a guitar player. And he actually plays with his thumb, but I do not have the technical proficiency with my thumb to be able to play as fast as he does. It's kind of mind-blowing, the stuff that he's able to do with his thumb. But for this lick, he is doing this over the Jobim tune Wave when it gets to the end of the form and it does that little D minor 7 to G7 vamp. And everything he's doing is right out of like D Dorian, so there's a lot of great insight into this lick, into some different spots where you can throw in some chromaticism and some passing tones and stuff like that. So if we take our D minor 7 chord and we play the Dorian scale in this position, in 5th position, I feel like most people are relatively comfortable playing around that position. That's kind of like one of the home spots for Dorian, right? Because it's like right out of that D minor 7 shape on the 5th string that we learned. So I feel like most people can kind of visualize around this spot pretty well. And if that's the case with you, then there's definitely some great little bits of info that we can get out of this lick that line up really nicely in that position. So he starts like this. He starts with the C note. And he does a beautiful slur chromatically from the C down to the A. So I'm starting with my ring finger on the C note on the 1st string, which is our flatted 7th intervallically, and then I just go chromatically all the way down. So I do C, pull off my middle to B, pull off my pointer to B flat, and then slide down a fret to A. So chromatically from the flat 7 down to the 5th. All right. And then after that, then we do middle finger on F, ring finger on D, and then back to our middle finger on F. Okay. So right there it's just, flat 3, root, flat 3. And then our ring finger is going to go to play the G note on the 2nd string. Now here's another spot where we have some great chromaticism. So after we hit that G note, middle finger plays F sharp, then pointer finger plays F natural, and we slide down a fret to E. So it's actually, if you look at the chromaticism from the first part of the line, it's the same sort of idea. He plays it differently as far as the rhythm, but it has that same direction, right? Just starting on a note with your ring finger and just going down 3 half steps. Right? And so intervallically what's happening there, he's playing it over the G7 chord, but if you want to think of all of this as D Dorian, that's fine too. Typically if I'm playing over this progression right here, I just view it all as Dorian because it's just a really typical Dorian progression. So either way, you could think of this as the root note of the G chord, or you can think of it as the 4 of the D minor chord. I prefer to just think of it as the 4. It's chromatically from the 4 down to the 2nd, right? So now we have great sound, and then we do this. Ring finger picks D, middle finger does C sharp, pointer finger does E, and then you go back to D with the ring. So that's great. So we have the root, and then he does the major 7, the 9, back to the root. Alright, and then from there, then we go like this. After we land on our D note with our ring, we put our ring on A on the 4th string, then pointer finger goes to C, ring back to A. So that's root, 5th, flat 7, 5th, then he does this little slur, pointer finger does B natural, and then hammer on to C, and then pull back off. And then ring finger is going to do A on the 4th string. Alright. Then pick B again on the 3rd string. Alright, so up to there we have this. Alright, and then the way that he concludes it, we do our pointer finger on C on the 3rd string, hammer on to D, and then pick E on the 2nd string, back to D with the ring, and then back to E with the pointer, and then pick C sharp with your middle, and then ring finger picks D again. Sorry. So articulation-wise, I'm definitely not doing everything exactly the way that he is, especially since he's using his thumb. So I would just recommend, play through the lick, and whatever is most comfortable and lines up the best for you in terms of your right hand and, the slurs and hammer-ons that you decide to put in, just feel free to go with that. It's not like there's like one general articulation that you have to stick to. It really comes down to whatever feels best based on your playing preference. So now the entire line slow. 3, 4. 3, 4. 3, 4. 3, 4. so much great stuff going on in this. And like I said, if you are already comfortable kind of maneuvering around the D Dorian scale in the 5th position, this should give you some really good like little bits of chromaticism and different spots where you can throw in a couple of new ideas that are relatively easy to visualize and give you just a really great sound. So love this lick, and Kevin Eubanks is just such a monster of a guitar player. If you haven't checked him out yet, I would highly recommend it. I would actually recommend checking out his album Opening Night. A lot of people consider that to be one of the greatest jazz guitar albums of all time, so definitely check that out if you haven't heard it before. But that is our lesson for this week. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you learned something. And as always, if you would like to donate and support the channel, you can do so at patreon.com/MikeAudetteMusic or paypal.me/MikeAudetteMusic. Thank you for watching, and I will see you at the next episode. Take care.